Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Above the Bar podcast, where each week we belly up to the bar with a new guest, find out what they do, who they are, and what makes them great. So sit back, relax, and enjoy. Alrighty, folks, welcome back to the Above the Bar podcast. It's your host, Sean. We've bellied back up to the bar today. We've brought with us a man where all roads lead to. He is taking the road to nowhere and made it his own. I'm trying to think of, can I have any other ones? All roads lead to taking the road. Yep, but we have with us Mr. Steven Rhodes of Lyfe Podcast.
Thank you.
I was trying to think of a few more roads references. I couldn't think of any other ones. I try to wait to do those off the cuff. But welcome, brother. How are you?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, I'm still on this end of the dirt, so it can't be too bad. So where are you at today? What state are we in?
I'm in Missouri.
Ah, misery.
Yeah.
State of misery. So
it's very cold right now. So yes.
I'll tell you the story here in a minute. Yeah, I'm in New York. We're on that we're in that same world as you. Unfortunately, dealing with the same thing. Oh, clear my throat. Sorry, folks. So we're gonna get ready to get this thing going, but let's go ahead and get some house cleaning done here real quick here, folks. So as we always do, if you're listening to us over my right shoulder, that's the big board for Sticker and a Cause. Sticker and a Cause is something, if you don't know what it is, if you've got your own podcast, you've got a charitable organization you support, you got anything out there that you want people to know about and you've got a sticker for it, reach out. You can find us on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, TikTok, Instagram, even our email. It's all the Above the Bar podcast. And you'll see this ruggedly handsome face for a logo. Send me a message. Let me know what you got going on. I'll give you the address where to send the stuff to, and then we put it up on the big board. This week, we stopped by out here in New York, Saratoga Comic-Con. And if you know me, you know I love my comic books. And a sidebar note, if you do anything with CGC, it is every bit worth it to spend the $15 on rush service. And the only reason I say that is I dropped books off last year, and I just got them back. I got one of the books back after Comic-Con a year later. I got the book back. I did 4 books this last show and had them CGC rushed. I'll get the last one back tomorrow. And Comic-Con was beginning of November.
Nice.
Like that, you can't even compare the two. Like, it's such a huge difference.
Yeah.
So, but we met the folks from Blue Shack Comics. They're here out of Saratoga. This is their sticker. It's going to go up on the board. You can find them. They got a Kickstarter going for their character, Supernatural Strings Vampire. His guitar is like, I haven't read the whole thing yet. But as soon as I saw good buddy of mine, Mark McKenna, Mark's been in the comic book world forever. I call him he's like a hired gun for indie books. Like if you're out there and you want to do a comic book and you're like, I don't know where to find a great artist, you pick up the phone, you call Mark McKenna. He gives you this amazing art, and you've got a book. He's like a hired gun for this. This is what he does. So this is one of his books. So we're going to put this up. They've got a Kickstarter. So make sure you get a chance. Go on to Kickstarter. Look up The Supernatural Strings of Vamp Wire. And that's W-Y-R-E. Vamp, W-Y-R-E. Check them out. Let's give them some love. Give them some support, especially if you're here in the New York area. And after the show, we'll get this up on the board and we'll take care of that. Maybe your media needs a kickstart. What do you think, Steve? Does your media need a kickstart?
Probably.
I think most of us, our media needs a good kickstart. If your media needs a kickstart, make sure you reach out to Media by Dibs. That's Media by Dibs, D-I-B-S. You can find him on Facebook. You can find him on Instagram at Media by Dibs. You let him know that you want to belly up to the bar. He's going to give you a 10% discount off your first order and a free consultation. That's Media by Dibs, D-I-B-S. Can't beat that. I mean, free. You can't beat free. I always say if it's free, it's for me. So all that is done. It's all taken care of. How are you, Mr. Steve?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Well, any better would probably be illegal, except for here in New York. We're pretty good here in New York.
I've got my medical card, so I'm good.
It's funny how everybody knows what that means now. Like I remember being a kid. I remember being a kid and hearing that and be like,
Well, actually, here in Missouri, they just passed recreational also. So,
"Oh, really?"
yeah, I think sometime around the beginning of next year, medical card won't be required anymore.
See, New York has been weird. So they had the medical card for the longest time, and it was kind of interesting the way they were doing the medical card, and then they finally passed the law for recreational, which is great, but their recreational dispensaries still haven't opened. It's been almost a year since the law passed, and they just can't quite figure out how they're going to do it. It's been very interesting to watch.
Yeah, I planned on keeping my medical card.
Now, that's got me curious. Why?
Because you get discounts.
Okay. No, that makes sense. Look, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's going to work for you, then go for it. You know, if
I literally can't sleep without eating a gummy or puffing on a pen or something.
That's interesting. Like, it's interesting. You talk to so many people and their different purposes. I had he was my ex-wife's cousin. He had restless leg syndrome. You know what that is? Where like their legs just kick around, and he dealt with that and had a lot of issues, and that's how he was able to get his legs to settle down was using it.
Listen, so I started out like hardcore and took some of it's called Rick Simpson oil.
What's that?
Pure cannabis extract.
Like straight up, just
pure cannabis oil. Okay.
Okay.
So you eat about a pea size, and you're
on another planet,
higher than a kite. You're going to Mars.
You don't even need SpaceX, and you're already on Mars, huh?
Right. So I took that my first night. I slept amazing, but all for 20 minutes the next morning, every muscle in my body was twitching.
Really? No, I've never heard of it.
I think I took way too much.
Wow. Well, normally you never hear people are always like, I don't have any issues. This does nothing to me. I wake up perfectly fine. So really, you actually had a reaction to it.
Yeah, I think I just took because multiple times I've woken up still high the next day, which can be like an uncomfortable high because you're still high, but you don't want to be high anymore. You want to wake up sober so you can get high again, but you're still up there and you're just like, what do I do now?
still running with it. Derek, Oregon's on another level with legal. Y'all legalize.
So I've got a roommate that's from Oregon, and it's cheap up there.
Well, they legalized anything basically. If it grows, it's good. Like they're legal with psilocybin. I interviewed a gentleman not long ago, and we were talking about it. And he had a really traumatic situation, lost a child, and was really dealing with some heavy psychological things. And when I say lost a child, I'm talking like less than 2 years old.
Oh, wow.
And was dealing with some pretty heavy psychological things. And folks, this isn't what we were planning on talking about. This is just where we ended up for today. This is how the show always works.
This is how my show goes every time.
I make hard left turns at all points. But yeah, he's like, yeah, I had to go to this. And I'm like, I wouldn't even know where to. He goes, oh, they grow right next to the library in my town. I'm like, what?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
He's like,
they grow like in people's front yards.
I'm like, because I only ever heard of people talking about like magic mushrooms, peyote, so under like cow shit or something like that.
Yeah.
Or horse shit.
Yeah.
Not like, oh no, go lick that right there.
I mean, that's how we get our wild ones out here. Is you wait till like a day or two after a rodeo. Yeah, I'm telling you.
All the hippies are walking around the rodeo. I'm like, man, this is great.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I find it very interesting. Like I said, I've talked to a few people about those kind of things. Now, Now you kind of hinted at this a little bit. Your podcast, it's Lyfe Podcast, which
Yes.
I forgot to run the scroller. Let me run that scroller here real quick, and make sure everybody go check out Lyfe Podcast. And Life is with a Y, Lyfe. He's got that on Facebook and on Instagram. Go give likes and follows. If you're just finding both of us through each other, this is podcast crossing streams. We're hoping that nothing crazy happens, no Ghostbuster level action, but make sure you give each of us a follow. You share this show.
I'm
put it
also on
your
TikTok.
Oh, TikTok. That's right. I saw your TikTok today, and
I sent you a follow earlier.
Right? But that's your TikTok's something different though. But it's like Steve.
Yeah, I need to change it.
Can you change your TikTok?
You can. You can't change your name, but you change the username.
Oh, can you? Derek said, "Yep, I never buy from the store. My best friend grows a bunch of different kinds in his backyard." Like, I gotta ask Derek. So, to say he grows a bunch of different kinds in his backyard, I want to know where he gets the spores from, because that I find very interesting. Or is it like he's just like going to the rodeo or going to the local farm and just getting dung and like placing it around the yard? How is he doing this? I want to know that. That's completely interesting me. Like, is it the dog just shits in the back? Like, why doesn't it grow on dog shit? Have you ever thought about that? Like, seriously, why doesn't it grow on dog shit?
I didn't know you could grow them outside of cow shit. I'd only ever heard of getting them from cow patties.
I don't know. I
thought it was the methane in the,
because they're heavy methane. Yeah, cow puts out 4 pounds of methane.
So I thought it was the methane, in the mushroom.
You might be absolutely correct.
Hey, I don't know.
Welcome to
I was guessing
podcast, because I have no idea. George, you're gonna have to tell me why your TikTok got banned. My boys at Outlaws do some of the best stuff around New York, like looking for sandwiches or trying new stuff from the stores and all that kind of like food stuff. And they do amazing stuff and have great questions. So everybody go look up Outlaws Podcast. It's with an S. You're gonna have to tell me why I got banned, George. Derek said you can buy seeds.
Yeah. Listen, there's a guy. I live just outside of St. Louis, and this guy got busted growing it in his apartment.
Hold on. Have you ever been by a mushroom farm?
I've not.
So I've
seen them on like TV shows and stuff.
So I used to own a house in Pennsylvania near Giorgio Mushrooms, and that's a big mushroom company.
Okay.
This guy was growing that in his house, he deserved to be busted. His neighbors deserved to beat him up every day, because we would go by Giorgio Mushrooms, and these were cinder block buildings that you would watch them. They would have a conveyor that would dump the fill dirt, which they had. You ever drive past like the big salt mounds, like when the season's coming for snow and everything, they have big salt mounds.
Yeah.
Imagine that level of mound, but all manure fertilizer.
Ew.
So that level, and you would drive past, and they would have conveyors that would dump. Oh, it gets better. Then these buildings, they close the doors, and then they put plastic wrap on the outside, and they have special like things to seal it, so all the moisture stays in there. They're mushrooms. That's what they want.
Right.
Just like most of us that are, you hear people always say about their jobs, I'm like a mushroom kept in the dark and fed shit. So this is what. So if this guy was growing that in his house, he deserved everything he got, because his house had to stink. Like the funk had to be.
And I was saying like all that moisture, there's got to be mold.
Oh, everywhere. This is a good question. I've never. So Nate.
So I've done peanut butter sandwich.
Like put the shrooms in the peanut butter sandwich and then eat it?
Yeah, you tear it up, put it in the sandwich, and just eat it. Crunchy peanut butter is better.
Why?
Yeah,
but I'm curious.
It covers up the taste.
Do they taste bad?
If they're grown in the cow shit, yeah. I've had ones that just taste like paper.
Ew.
It tasted like chewing on paper. Those ones I can just eat plain. Wow. I have a really fucked up palate.
That's crazy. And then Derek's one of my buddies. I met Derek through another good friend of ours, DCD Collects. Go check out DCD Collects. I think Those guys, Doug should be on soon. I have to check the date, but he says everyone shares theirs and cross germinates, and they come up with all kinds of different strains. That's wild to me. That is so wild to me. I know. Look, Nate, it is always educational. We weren't even going to talk about this shit. I'm just learning shit right now because I'm going. I know another buddy who microdosed and under doctor supervision, because his brother was a doctor, so he monitored him, and he had PTSD issues from being in the service, and it made he's like, dude, you have no idea the difference it made in my life, just getting me. He's like, I don't do it anymore, but it was enough to get me through the hump of where I needed.
So listen, the first time I did it, I took a 1 gram pill. They ground it up into powder and put it in a pill capsule.
Okay.
This sounds way that.
That sounds
that was a microdose. The next time I took it, ever since then, I've done no less than about 6 grams at a time.
So you can smell colors.
I can see sound.
You're seeing sound and smelling colors at that point.
Yes, you are. There's a reason this is my tapestry.
I love your tapestry. I got to throw one out there to you that I think you'll find interesting. Derek says, just as long as you're under I think 10 plants, it's legal to grow your own. 10 and over, I think, is considered commercial, and there's a whole different set of rules. That's wild. It's completely wild. And then Patrick Cutler has a small series with History Channel now. Oh, you have to tell me about what Patrick's doing.
Oh, there's a documentary on Netflix about magic mushrooms also.
Oh, I have to look it up. So I don't listen to a lot of Joe Rogan because I can't get through the whole show. It's just too much for me. And look, and Joe
that's understandable.
Joe's like, he's got his steroids and his elk meat and everything else he likes to do. And, MMA and all this, I'm beyond that world. He probably toe to toe, he probably put me in a headlock and hurt me. I still think my podcast is better. My podcast is better than his. I can't listen to his whole show, but I love some of his guests. I would love his level of guests. Nothing personal. Look,
me too. Me too.
His level. But he had a guy on that talked about how there's a theory of how the human mind evolved because of psilocybin and those type of things. From early man, looking for food and constantly looking for food sources, hunter-gatherer time, finding these and being like, hey, these ones I can eat and I feel fine. These ones I can eat and get in touch with the spirit world. And because of this, it created different channels in our mind that for thought, because like it or not, look, any of you all that have ever spent any time around somebody who's completely stoned out of their mind, you hear some wild shit come out of their mouth. And 9 times out of 10, you're like, you're an idiot. But some people, it really, it opens up these conversations. Look, bro, people use mushrooms for more than just talk to aliens, Nate. They use it to talk to the refrigerator, to the cat, to the ceiling fan. But yeah, there's like this whole theory about it. So we made a hard left. we made such a hard left. We might be coming back around here. So let's get back around. So you got your show, Steve. It's funnier even that your show's called Lyfe Podcast, Lyfe Podcast. Tell the folks what your show is about.
Okay, so it originally actually started out as me and my best friend just telling stories back and forth and getting super stoned while doing it. That's how it started. And then he was like, listen, man, like it's fun coming over to tell stories, but like I can't.
I am on a drug. It's called Charlie Sheen.
He's like, I can't drive your house every single week. And I'm like, all right, I'll figure something else out. So I was like scrolling through TikTok, going to people's lives and talking to people. And I started making friends with some people. And I was like, hey, would you want to do the show? So it started out, a few close friends, and they were like, hey, so like you should like talk to these other people that you don't know. And I'm like, whoa now. I have
That's
social
not-
anxiety.
that's
We
not
can't
crazy.
just be reaching out to people willy nilly, you know. But I started doing it, and it's evolved, and I actually got 2 like real good seasons in before it's becoming sparse now.
I saw your last one look like October 5th. You interviewed the first female winner of Fortune and
Yes.
Fire, which I want to talk about that because we had the season 7 military Fortune Fire winner on, Chris,
Okay.
and he's amazing. We got some stuff around. He made me a dragon bottle opener.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Did you see the episode with Dustin Rhodes?
Like Dustin, like dad
Not
is.
the wrestler.
Oh,
Not
okay.
the-
No, I didn't see that one.
Okay. Well, so it's my cousin. He was on season 4, episode 2.
Really?
And then he was the first person I talked to about Forged and Fire. And then I went to a Gem and Rock show. Gem, GEM.
Gem.
Yeah.
Say
I
what
went
word
to
again?
like this show thing, you go in there, buy crystals and stuff.
Awesome.
And she was there selling jewelry. Handmade jewelry. So I was like, hey, so like I talked with my cousin who was on the show, and she goes, oh, yeah, I know who he is. I was like, okay, cool. Can I get you on the show? And at the time, I didn't even have cards or anything made yet. She kind of gave me the idea of like, hey, it'd be a lot easier for people to get a hold of you if you have like business cards or something to hand out. So I have a bunch of those now. But
I'll explain this in a minute.
okay. So finally she got a hold of me later on. Was like, hey, I listened to some of your episodes. I love the show. Let's do this.
That's awesome.
So that was a fun episode too.
I'll give you an insider tip on the business card thing. Look up an app called, and I recommend this app to all kinds of people. I wish they would sponsor me. They should sponsor me just because I recommend their app so much. It's called Hi Hello, just like it sounds, HIHELLO.
Okay.
And you can do free digital business cards that becomes a widget on your phone.
Okay, so I have a dot card.
So you have the card.
Yeah. So I have, hold on.
See, I like the dot cards.
Yeah, I've got the dot card. And then it's got the QR code on the back for people who don't have NFC readers.
You showed me yours. Here's mine.
Okay. Yeah, I can put one of those on my phone.
Yeah.
I can also buy, there's a NFC reader you can buy that sticks to the back of your phone.
I've seen that one where you just like hold it over.
Yeah. But
well, look, I got to guess.
Not a lot of people have their NFC reader turned on.
Yes, I agree with you.
So that's why I went with the QR code.
I agree with the QR code. It's so much easier. Our buddy Nate, I would recommend. I'll connect you with Nate, and you could bring Nate on. Nate's getting ready. He linked up with Patty Negri. He's learning how to ghost hunt. He's going to be doing it for legit.
Nice.
He'd be a great one. He knows everybody also. So here's my boy Mike Dennis. Here, it's like you could be. I'm going to tell you right now, Steve. You could be Mike's illegitimate child. Looking at you and knowing Mike since my freshman year in high school, you might be Mike's illegitimate child. Have you spent? Did your mother spend any time in Baltimore? That's all I can ask you. If she was any time in Baltimore at any point, was she a big Danzig fan?
I don't know. I don't know much about my mom's history.
Just saying he might be your dad. Now he's a big fan of the band Ghost. He loves that band. But he threw up the Smurf thing. That was my nickname from my freshman year in high school through. That's like, and I always ask people, like, you can always tell how people know you by the name they call you.
Right.
I guarantee you, if somebody calls me by that name, you know me from high school.
Right.
You didn't know me from the neighborhood, but you know me from high school. You call me Gunnery Sergeant or Gunny, you know me from there, from my time in the service. There's a couple other ones. Asshole, we probably dated at some point. Um, but the name Smurf came from our high school. We had gym uniforms, like
Okay.
legit, like
Yeah.
the little nut hugger shorts that were like a canvasy material and a double-sided shirt that like you could flip it around and like it was orange on the inside, black on the other side.
Okay.
And I put on my shirt, they said, put your first initial and your last name. Well, my first name is Sean, last name is Murphy. Hence
Okay.
Smurfy. I'll never forget it. Mike Białozinski. Mike, I was a little guy in high school, still not a big guy. Mike sees my shirt and he goes, "Oh, your name's Smurfy." I was like, "Shut up, asshole." And then he like leaned in and I was like, "Yeah, I'm gonna get my ass kicked for here in a moment. This is gonna be an ass whooping coming." But it was to the point that I had teachers that's how they would refer to me.
Oh, nice.
Call me Smurf. They were like, "That's who this guy is. That's who that is. That's how you know who he is." Mike's over here laughing. He loves Ghost. But yeah, that's that story. That's a completely sidebar story that nobody now everybody be like, "Hey, Smurf." Shut up.
Well, I mean, I understand how you refer to me is how you know me, because anybody who knows me from when I was younger, they call me Steven. My family, anybody who grew up with me, they all call me Steven. They refuse to call me Steve.
That's too funny.
If I worked with you or you knew me after the age of 18, then you'd call me Steve, because that's what I went by since I was like 17.
So funny. See, it's funny how that works. Now, do you, with your podcast, now I'm curious about that. Now, do you use your full name for your podcast? Like anything for the most, I just had the one.
So yeah, on the what's it called? Spotify.
On Spotify?
On Spotify it says Steven Rhodes.
Okay. So you you use your first name. So now you started meeting all these people and you kind of wanted to do this other one. What was your catalyst? Because I'm always curious. There's so many of us out there, and we've talked about the stats, average podcast.
Yeah, I
10 episodes.
I had to get picky. I didn't want people that were just dancing on cameras. Like, I wanted people who had a story to tell. Like they were putting on a show, like their TikToks or videos were more of a show and less of a just watch me shake my booty.
I'm really good at that. I mean, so you picked out people that you knew had like legit content, real content to what they were doing.
Right.
What were some of the parameters for you to come up with that real content? Scotty,
what's up, man?
One of your boys. I don't know that name. I get fans of sometimes I'm like, I don't know who that is. So, well, what kind of content were you looking for? Like, what mattered to you when you were picking?
So initially, I went for people who
his buddy's over here telling him shake his booty.
So I went for people who were entertaining to me, people I already followed, and I didn't know the best way to get a hold of these people. So it was more of like ambushing their live and in the comment section going, "Will you be on my podcast? Will you be on my podcast? Will you be on my podcast? Will you be on my podcast?" Until they finally just answer me.
That's awesome. I love it that you spammed them.
I did. I got kicked out of one live show for that.
I love it. Fuck them if they can't take a joke.
It was Ben Brainerd.
Now who's that?
He's a comedian. I was trying to get him on there, and his moderators were like, "If you don't quit spamming, we're gonna block you." And I was like,
"That's cool.
Will you be on my podcast?"
And the reality of it is it didn't affect your pocket in any way, shape, or form.
No.
Yeah, like we don't care.
I've had one guy completely ignore the question at all.
Who was that?
The get fucked Karen guy. I
can't think of his name. Oh, is that the one that's like he has the Karen neighbor that's like called the police on him before
Yeah.
for his kid
Yeah.
and like all this stuff. And he's like leave me alone.
And he owns the branding of the stick figure doing.
Oh, does he really?
Yeah, he bought the rights to that, and he is such a prick about it that somebody like copied it and was selling it on the side.
He wasn't having
And he sued them.
really?
He is such a prick about it. Half his stories, I swear, aren't even true because they just sound so ridiculous that it's like there's no way that actually happened.
Just
like
too
somebody
absurd.
would be in prison.
Like just the highest level of absurdity.
Right.
So now I've never done the TikTok thing, like to request guests. Like, you know, I've met a few people, talked to a few folks on there that are cool, but never have I met a guest on there. Is that where, and I think a lot of people want to get into podcasts.
That's where 90% of my guests came from. Yes.
Maybe I'm missing something with that because there's a
Well,
lot
so
of
here's the problem now is a lot of these creators that I've been trying to reach out to, now they've gotten to the point where they want paid for it.
Mm.
And I'm like, I don't even get paid for this. How can I pay you for this?
What's funny is we've that's actually becoming the other side is as your show goes along, we can talk about it afterwards. But people always ask, well, how do you monetize these things? There's a million ways to monetize.
Oh, yeah. I'm not looking to monetize High Life, though.
And so you don't want to monetize it.
I don't want to monetize that show. I have a new project that I'm trying to get going. I would monetize that one. But
now, what's the new one going to be?
So I want to interview religious leaders.
Oh.
And get the basic knowledge of their religion. I'm not looking to debate things. I'm not looking to argue. I'm not looking to make fun of anyone or twist anyone's words.
Love it.
Just educational.
I would so listen to that. I would listen to that all day long.
See, I think I enjoy just studying religions.
Yes. I 100%
it's very interesting.
Like I was just having this conversation with my mother who she's gone to she grew up Baptist. I was raised Catholic because of my father, like all these different things. And then, now go to a Methodist church. But I was just having this conversation with my mother. Did you know there's 14 books that were removed from the Bible in the 1600s?
Yes. They're called the Jaceys or Jacobees or something like that.
There's one.
You can buy that book.
Separate. Oh, can you? Yeah. There's 14 books that were removed.
I didn't even know that they existed until last year.
Yeah. I see.
Because I grew up Baptist and
God.
they didn't even talk about that.
You're full of fire and brimstone. Fire, brimstone, and sweaty people. That's like
I grew up Baptist, but I don't attend church anymore. And see, that's where people get this misconception that I'm trying to pervert religion. Awesome.
Nate's got. I'll hook you up with Nate. Nate, we'll hook it up afterwards. I'll connect you guys.
So they're like, oh, you want to tear down religions. You want to make fun of these people. I'm like, no, I'm genuinely like wanting education.
Here's one that'll throw you out.
I was like, the whole thing that I'm not religious makes it so that I can talk to these different religions.
Yeah.
Without having preconceived notions.
Have you ever met a Buddhist Christian? That's a thing.
That's interesting.
That is 100%. I had a girl I dated in high school.
Buddha's not a god, so it wouldn't be a conflict.
So, but in this form of Buddhist Christianity, it's a very small sect. They follow that time frame between age 13 and 32 where there's no life. We don't know what happened in Jesus' life. They follow that because there's words that say that he actually showed up in Asia Major through the Silk Roads. He went there. That's where he learned so much and brought a lot of that back with him to Asia Minor in that area and started those teachings. So they believe that he was a prophet for Buddha.
Okay.
So, and this is like
I always thought
I've been in
Buddha was a prophet from God,
the universe, from the
Yeah.
universe. But they feel that he was in that. It's very, very interesting. So this, so your show sounds like, I would so listen to that all day long because I find all.
And I
those
want to do
things-
it as a YouTube series too. Like I want to interview the religious leaders, like you and I are talking.
Yeah, that's so great. I would, yeah. See that's great. Now, why the pivot though? So I'm always curious. Like a lot of us, this is episode probably 155 or 156 of this show.
Okay.
This is what I do. I've thought
Right.
about other shows, but this is kind of the bread and butter show. And I don't know. I think if I stop doing this, I might get the twitches and the DTs and start scratching my neck like a junkie.
And listen, like High Life didn't come to a stop from lack of trying. It's not from lack of trying. It's lack of interest.
Just like you lost interest in it, or you didn't feel like
that people have lost interest in talking unless they're getting paid.
That's interesting. So I'll be honest with you, just like yourself, none of my guests get paid.
Right.
I can tell you a site to use that you don't have to worry about that.
I look at this as like this is a chance for me to talk about my show on somebody else's show, and more people can learn about it.
Yeah, I see. It sounds fascinating to me because I love the fact that you go after people who are influencers or content creators.
Yeah.
To me, that's fascinating because I've always wondered what makes somebody think that their opinion on a pair of jeans or on a color or on a food or how
so
they
here's the thing: content creator and influencer to me is two different things.
Okay, so what do you mean?
So influencer is your Instagram, TikTok, like they're the ones who are paid to advertise things. Just content creators, I mean, they could have like really great skits and stuff like that, but not be paid to push products.
But don't they all eventually? Isn't that the goal with all of it though? Is that you get to that point?
Like they get paid, like they get eventually, like if you try, you can get, hey, do this sponsored ad for us and we'll pay you X amount of money.
Because I'm willing to listen. If you're out there and you're listening, I'm willing to sell out. Have no doubt in my mind. I will sell out. What would you like me? Like, do you want wigs? That's the hardest thing would be to get me to get rid of that Raven sticker. And for the right money, we might be able to talk. Money talk, bullshit walks. I'm too old to keep working and everything. Like I'm trying.
My dream is to be on the radio. So that's why I'm not looking. That's why I'm not like hardcore up on monetization or anything like that. Like this is me getting my voice out there and
one of those schools.
building a resume for radio.
What are those schools? Like there used to be like the Columbia School
for you can go to broadcast school and then try to get on, that way. I don't like school, so I'm doing this the hard way.
Heaven forbid you go to school and get educated on it to where people
exactly. Are like, if you can just start out in the promotions department of your local radio station and work your way up from there.
Absolutely, Nate. I will pimp myself out. I have no idea. Look, you need foot pics? I'll send you foot pics. The shit looks like a hobbit, but I will send foot pics. Like that. So we've got some these.
But what caused the shift in shows? I've wanted to do that religion show since like 2012, but it wasn't really. It for one, podcasting wasn't a thing yet. For two, I didn't really have a way of getting a hold of people like I do now. Social media has exploded in the last 10 years. And so I've wanted to do that type of show for a very long time. High Life was kind of is anybody even going to listen if I talk? Type thing. And when I started putting it out there, and then I started like watching the views, I was like, what? Like I have listeners in Russia, and I'm like, why? Thank you, but why?
I was big in Nigeria at one point in time. I was like, big in Nigeria. Let's get this going.
Hey, I hit number 7 on iTunes comedy interview.
Really?
In the country of Jordan.
Hey, look, take it.
Exactly. I do. I claim it.
I'm all
but it's
about
because there was a guy that I talked to was on vacation in Jordan.
So it was singing out there,
visiting family, and he was talked up the show, and then those families over there, they're very connected, so it blew up.
Yeah, Scott, your buddy Scott says, like Mr. Beast, he's a content creator, but sponsors fights for him to shout out their company. Influencers are just stupid and stupid titles. They are all content creators.
Okay, Scott.
But even influencer, they now have this term micro influencer. Have you seen that yet?
No, I haven't.
So an influencer, traditionally would be somebody who, Kim Kardashian, Paris Hilton, pro athletes, they're influencers. If they say, hey, I wash my hair with, squirrel piss, well, I guess I got to go get a bottle of that. And people would go out and do it. Now they have these micro influencers, which are people who might have 20, 30, 40,000 followers, who are much more easier for these corporations to influence, to get them to take the product.
They're a lot cheaper.
Right. It's much easier, like our show, we've got between Facebook and Instagram, just between those two platforms, probably over 2,000 followers between those two platforms.
Nice.
So if somebody picked up the phone and called me and said, hey, we want you to push, our deodorant. Okay. All right. Send it to me. We'll talk about it. I'm cool with that. You can, and probably could get away with sending me a box of it. The only thing I won't do is if any of them ever called me, and this probably maybe would shoot me in the foot, I don't care. I won't ever do the codes. Put in the above the bar for a 10% discount, blah, blah, blah.
Oh, yeah.
I won't do that.
So I'm technically a brand ambassador for 2 brands.
My buddy Eric, influencers are job recruiters. 100%, Eric. You influence people's lives, brother. It was good seeing you today. You are a life influencer. And Scott's over. No, you're fucking serious. But somebody, who's coming to hang out with us? Who is it?
It's my roommate's daughter. She just got home.
Oh, okay. Like they can all jump on there. Scott and Eric are making a friendship here. We're making a friendship.
Hey, Scott makes friends with everyone.
Scott, look, Eric, you got a new friend. But no, so I think it's pretty interesting. Now with this next show that you're talking about, do you have a name for it yet?
I don't have a title for it yet. I thought about calling it "What Do You Believe?"
What about From the Pulpit? From the Pulpit.
Yeah,
I like From the Pulpit. Now, is there any? So this is what I was thinking about with this show, because I love this idea. We're gonna brainstorm this one for a moment.
Okay.
Would you interview somebody from like a Westboro Baptist?
Oh, I would love to interview someone from Westboro.
You would find that,
because I want to do each type of Christianity. Also, I don't want to encompass all Christian faiths into one, because they're different. I've attended Baptist, Catholic, Lutheran, Like I've been to almost every single one because I grew up with an aunt who didn't know what she wanted to be, and then like when I got older, I would just randomly go to different church services because I was interested in how they do.
Now, I definitely agree with you with the Christianity, and you mentioned Lutheran. They're better than Catholic. Just ask them; they'll tell you.
I call it Catholic Light.
See, I always say that about being a Methodist. I always say we're the Pepsi One of Catholic, all the same great flavor, just none of the guilt. No fire and brimstone in my church. You know the deal. Do right by others. But I find this just completely fascinating. Would so dive into listening to this and just hearing about other faiths and how they cross over.
But yeah, but with like, so if I interviewed Baptist,
right,
I want to interview multiple. I don't want just one person. I want to go in and cut it together like a History Channel biography.
Okay. So, I mean, I just find that fascinating because I'm thinking like Baptist, I know Southern Baptist and First Baptist, that's the denomination of Baptist I know of, I mean, that in and of itself.
I grew up in a missionary Baptist church.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
Which is apparently different than Southern. So I don't know.
I didn't even know that was a thing.
I didn't know there was a difference until I got older, and I mentioned like this other Baptist church in town. I was like, why do we have like 4 different Baptist churches in this one little town? And they said, oh, well, that one's Southern Baptist. That one's this. We're missionary Baptist. And I was like, it's all Baptist, isn't it?
Yeah, no. And your buddy Scott, in my eyes, an influencer is someone who inspires you to change your life for a better, not shake your ass for views. Hey, look,
but you gotta get them views so you can get more followers.
That's it. That's how you influence their lives, Scott. You need some rump shaking. It's important to shake your moneymaker to get that going.
Scott, listen, I saw you shaking your moneymaker enough at your wedding. Okay.
Whoa. Scott's rocking a dump truck. He's got the dumper rocking. But so for you and podcasting, so you've got the bug. It wasn't a one and done. What's some of the things you would tell to folks that are really interested in podcasting? Because I talk to people all the time, and the first thing I tell most of them is, you got about $1,000, and they're like, what?
Why?
You need, like, because if you were to see all the shit I got, like, it's addictive.
Okay, but do you know what you need to get started?
A cell phone.
That's it.
Right.
I downloaded the Anchor app, and I plugged in a gaming headset. Like my first few episodes, like the audio is absolutely garbage because I was using a.
That's great.
I was using a headphone splitter, so it would turn one headphone jack into 2.
With a buddy.
2 gaming headsets with me and my best friend. So the audio sounds like
horrible,
absolute shit. But I mean, that's how we started.
Right. That's
now I've got this microphone. I've got. I bought a separate webcam than the one that's on the laptop itself.
Bro,
it got me a fancy chair, so I'm more comfortable when I'm trying to record than like hunched over on a stool.
So you know what I'm talking about. Like, you can.
I know what you're talking about, but I mean, to get
off anything.
But to get started, I mean.
But once the bugs got you, because you do that. Because you do the first episode, and then you go back and you listen to the audio, and you're like, "Oh, this sounds horrible." You're like,
"Listen, listen." So, all of season 1,
cell phone.
I never listened to it. I published it as is.
100%. I love it. Do you know how many my shows
Nothing was edited? I didn't know how to edit.
Do you know how many my shows I've listened to out of 155?
All of them?
Not a one. I've never.
Okay.
I you know why I don't listen to them?
Why?
I was there. What the fuck I need to listen to it for? I was there.
So I have to wait a week before I can do edits.
Why?
because I can't listen to it right after I've done it.
Oh, okay. I get that.
For the same reason. I was just there. I have to wait a week. I have to get stoned for a week so that I forget what happened.
That's great. I got to be completely stoned out of my mind for an entire week before I can get that going.
Yes.
That is so great. Oh my God. See,
Like,
I don't,
man, hey, listen, I have an episode sitting, like waiting to be edited. And
but
it's just sitting there.
But you bring up a great subject.
It's never been published, never been edited. I've just been sitting on it.
But you bring up a great point. There's such a different, and for folks, if you're listening to this and you're thinking about podcasting, I want you to hear the difference between what I'm talking about and what Steve's talking about. So I edit nothing.
Right. Well, I mean, we're live, so you can't really edit this anyways.
But no, so this is going to go out as a regular podcast tomorrow at 7 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that's going to be the show. And we'll go from there, and it'll be a great show, and they can hear it. And I could go back and edit that and be like, hey, you can see the video that's raw or listen to this edited version. But I don't want it. But I know folks like yourself who are spending, and you can do this, folks. Please don't look at the way I do it. I do it because the Podfather, who is a great friend of mine who got me into podcasting, it's the way he does it, and it's the way he trained me to do it. He doesn't edit because he likes the raw, same as I do. But I know people who do podcasts, and they send their stuff off, and it's, they have somebody they pay about $100. What is it? About $100 a month. They're only doing like 1 or 2 episodes a month to do all their editing for them. And some people do that, but these are different. Like a lot of these are business or coaching level podcasts. Right. So they're looking for that cleaner, not
right.
Hey, this should feel like you're sitting at a bar having a conversation.
Okay, so literally all I edit, I don't have ways of messing with the sound or anything. I do need a better background. Shut up, Scott.
You should get a Ravens background.
So the only thing I'm editing is just like cutting out dead air in the conversation, or if we went off on a tangent about something that doesn't need to be in the show.
That's heavy editing. But that's heavy editing. I mean, that's like editing. You're really going for a cleaner, more.
I'm looking for a smoother conversation.
Get the High Life flag made with some titles and beers. There you go. I just find it very interesting. And the reason I bring that up, folks, as you're listening to this, is if you're interested in podcasting, this is why I joked around and said, hey, you're crossing streams here. I stream in a different way. You don't go live. You're not live. So I'm live when I'm recording. If you're listening to this, share it to everyone under the sun. Please go on. I'm going to tell you, please go on to Apple or Spotify, give it a 5-star and a comment, because that's how we grow all this thing. And you can go do that because you hear me right away. It's in your head. Hey, Steve, and I expect to see one from you, Steve. Scott. Let's see what happens here. See if my numbers go up, because Scott's going to hook it up because I'm putting all of his comments up there. But I'm looking for that. If you're looking for that, that's a type of podcast. And people are like, well, no, you do a video cast. No, I don't. This is an audio. This just happens to be how I record.
Right. I've done 2 video interviews, and I recorded them through Skype.
That's how I started.
Literally a Skype call. You can hit record.
Scott, I was liking you all the way up. I mean, you sound like your wedding was a great time, and then you had to talk bad about it.
He's a hardcore Chiefs fan.
Hey, sidebar, if Eric's still listening, Eric will tell you, I had we were talking football today. I was up in Plattsburgh. That's a 2.5-hour drive. In the snow, it was 3.5 hours. But I say it all the time. As much as I love Lamar, and I think he is Lamarvelous, he's amazing. I wish we had Patrick Mahomes. I think Patrick Mahomes is the prototype for every great quarterback you see coming up. The only difference would be Josh Allen, who I feel Josh Allen is a mobile Ben Roethlisberger. He's every bit as big and as strong as Ben is, but he doesn't have concrete blocks for feet. Ben Roethlisberger has cement blocks for feet, so you can hate on my Ravens. I mean, we did abuse you guys, but I mean, that's different. But so you did 2 videos, you did them through Skype, and that's how I started with Skype. Yeah. I didn't know about StreamYard. What do you think of StreamYard?
I like it. So there was another one I tried to use, but they wanted me how much they wanted me to pay to use their service. They only allowed me like 1 hour of recording a month.
No.
And I was like, oh no, like I post weekly. Like I can't do this. And then Spotify ended up buying them out. So then the price went even higher. And I'm like, what? No, I guess I'll just keep using Anchor. And then I had the idea with a buddy of mine about
doing audio only, or
doing we were having a video call on Skype because I was on my laptop, and I was like, hey, there's a record button.
Yeah.
And he's like, well, go ahead, record this and see what we can do with it, And I learned I can download the audio separate from the whole video.
Yep.
And so I would upload the audio to Anchor and then publish it that way. And then I would upload the video to YouTube.
So I didn't upload them separate. I was just recording the Skype and then keeping them. And then I got, again, the Podfather, Herb, I love him. We started talking about StreamYard, and he got me involved with StreamYard. And this, for folks that are thinking about it, I can't say enough. So there's a free version of this. And the only difference between the free version of this and what I have, so if you're looking at the live video of this, you can see I have all my logos, I have my stuff, my background, everything. If you use the free version, it's all says StreamYard. So it's the StreamYard's duck, it's all their logos all over your stuff. But when I download this, I can download the video we're having. I can download just the audio from this, which is what I'll do when I put this out. But the great thing about this is I can stream this to 10 separate sites at once.
I did see that when I was going through the sign up. It was like, what do you want to link to this? The only thing I linked to it, and I got to wait 24 hours before I can do it, but I linked my YouTube channel.
Yeah. And that's one of the great things.
Apparently, when you first request live access on YouTube, you have to wait 24 hours.
Yes. Yeah. There's a few of them that are like that. But once you're set up, it's pretty simple to get it going. And like I said, this is right now going out on 3 Facebook pages, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, and
I was sharing the crap out of everything. Like as soon as you sent me those links, I was sharing them out to everyone that I could. I put like 3 different things on my Facebook. That's probably how Scott saw it.
That's how you do it.
Yeah, I had it like as soon as you started posting about it, I was sharing your posts.
Excellent.
And then I made a couple of TikToks, like
I saw the one
early this fucking morning, like 6 o'clock this morning. I'm sitting in my truck, like half asleep. I'm doing this for you guys. Damn it.
And Scott, I'll tell you right now, if you did a podcast and called it Dad of 3 Girls, I promise you, if you did it weekly and just talked about things that your daughters did or experiences that you're having as a dad of 3 girls at 3 different ages, what's going on with them and what you're experiencing, or, and I don't know if you're married or not, but as the only, man in a house with 4 women, I promise you, you will get viewers. People will give you advice on how to do things. Now I know what my biggest challenge is. When it comes to running a podcast, it isn't this. This is the easy part. Right. This part is absolutely the easiest thing I do. I can do this all day long, twice on Sunday. It will never bother me if somebody wanted to sit down and have a conversation.
Right.
My
This
biggest
is the fun
challenge,
part.
this is the best part of it. My biggest challenge, and I'm curious about what yours is, it's the other stuff. It's posting every day, making sure people are tagged, making sure that, hey, I've reached out to my
I'm
guest.
terrible at posting TikToks. That's why I don't have a whole lot of followers. And like a lot of my friends that I did interviews with and stuff like that, their accounts have grown. There's one guy, the first time I've talked to him twice. Once in season 1 and once in season 2. Ronan GT. The first time I talked to him, he had like a few 100,000 followers.
A few 100,000?
Yes.
Okay.
He is now over 1 million followers.
Hold it as I break my mic.
I was like, dude, you are the biggest glow up I've ever seen on that app.
wow.
I was like, because you built yours naturally. I was like, you weren't chasing followers. People just gravitated to you because they enjoy your stories. They enjoy how honest you are.
Now, what's he
They
telling
enjoy
stories
your
about?
content.
What's his story?
So he started out telling stories of like asset protection stories.
Oh, I love it. Oh, that had to be
So
amazing.
catching thieves at Walmart. He's worked for JCPenney, and he would just tell stories of people he's caught, what they got caught doing. You know, he changes some details for legal reasons, but
That's awesome.
and that's why I gravitated to him. I was like, I worked security for over 2 years. I love stories.
I mean, I would love to talk to a guy like that. See, that sounds fascinating. I'm telling you, Scott, you got something there. You got 4 girls in the house, 2 of your daughters about to enter womanhood. Oh yeah, you've got something there. That's what some of your biggest comedians out there have made their entire careers off of, is just telling stories about being a parent. That's the other side to it is, folks, if you're interested in doing a podcast, I don't know about for Steve. I know for me, I want to be worldwide. I want everyone to wake up and go to work and be like, dude, you listen to Murph's podcast this morning? Did you hear it?
Right.
Did you catch it live that's what I want. I'm never going to be like, I just want to enjoy this and just meet some new people. It'll be a great time. This will be a lot of fun. We'll just have a little drinks and hang out. Fucking ain't that. No.
Hey, so I work at a gas station. That's my full-time job.
Please tell me somebody that sounds like I just did. Somebody you work with.
Well, I have one of my regulars is an avid follower of mine.
Oh, that's awesome.
He came in the gas station one day because I was like kind of quit posting episodes for a while. And like I had a bunch stored up. I just wasn't posting them. And he comes in and he goes, hey, what's going on with the podcast? And I'm like, what do you mean? And he's like, I haven't seen any new episodes.
That's great.
There's a guy I follow on TikTok that he does little 1-minute videos on things that his 4 and 6-year-old got mad about recently.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's the most ridiculous things. Like 4 was mad because the remote took batteries. They had a complete meltdown about it.
I love it. But now tell me, how did that? And that's what you're talking about right there. Somebody coming to you and saying, hey man, where's your content at? It's one guy comes into your work. It's, in the grand scheme of life,
right?
It may not matter to 99% of the world, but how did that make you feel knowing that one guy out there wants to hear what you have to say?
Dude, I was like, what? He goes, I've been waiting for new episodes. Like, where's the episodes? And I'm like, I'll work on them tomorrow. Like,
right. Like it made you feel like you needed to do that, didn't it?
Right. Also, so I went to a concert a few months ago, Smile Empty Soul.
Nice. And
one of the opening bands was a band called Misplaced Religion.
Okay. Don't know them, but all right.
I'm guessing they're a small band because Smile Empty Soul is not that big of a band either.
But I know they are.
Well, I'm glad you even know who they are. Most people, when I say the name, they're like, "Who?"
Yeah, no, I love music.
So I talked to one of the opening bands, and I was talking about the podcast. You've always got to talk up your podcast wherever you go.
Absolutely.
And so, we were talking about it. I was telling him about dot cards and like showing him how easy they were to use. And so like I, let him scan my QR code. He's like, "Oh, I'll definitely we'll be in touch." I kind of forgot about it because he never got a hold of me, but I mean, he's in a band. They're probably
Right.
busy, and I could always reach out to them. But so he came in my gas station one night, and I was like, "Hey, aren't you the guy from Misplaced Religion?" And he's like, "Aren't you the guy with the podcast?" And like he just like his eyes just like got 10 times their size. And he was just like starry-eyed at me. His girlfriend had to finish the transaction for him.
That's so awesome. See, I envy that.
Oh my God. I felt amazing. Like I was like, nobody can bring me down from this. No one.
No, that's amazing. And look, folks, listen.
And when I got that email about being number 7 in comedy interviews and number 13 in comedy for iTunes, even if it's just the country of Jordan, I was like,
shit.
I posted it. I posted it on Facebook. I posted it on Snapchat, like everywhere. And I used the same tag on all of it. I said, "To all my haters."
I love it. And look, and I don't give a shit what anyone says. We all start podcasts because we want people to hear us.
Right.
I have an idea and I want
I
you to
didn't want anybody to hear it. I wouldn't publish it.
That's it. If I just wanted to talk to these people, I would be like a creeper sending them emails. So can I ask you some questions? I would do that. Like, who gives you? I put it out there because they go, this dude's got an interesting story. He does something that I like to do. Let's talk about it.
Right.
And there's stressors to it. There's all kinds of things. And we got to get ready to put a bow on this thing as we do right around this mark. But brother, I love your approach to it, Steve. I truly love your approach. It's not like, you know what you like. You got the first one out of your system. You enjoyed it. You got another one. I can tell you right now, the other one would love. I got a Navajo medicine man for you if you're looking for a religion. The guys are amazing. And I think that concept in today's world, and especially if people start listening to it and realize like, wonder why
I had a Baptist preacher actually get mad at me though.
Why?
Because I was going to talk to other religions also. And I wasn't trying to say that this is the right one and the only one.
Oh, they get over it.
He's like, I can't condone this. And I'm like, well, I'll find somebody else.
Somebody will. Look, brother, somebody will. And I laugh at all those guys. But yeah, I just love the concept. So do you have so the religious one is in the works for you?
It's in the works, right?
We're getting there. We have High Life. You can find that on TikTok. You can find that on Instagram. You can find that on Facebook. You got content out on those places. People can go and follow you. They should give you 5 stars. They should go find us and give us 5 stars. Everybody gets 5 stars.
Definitely.
They should go out and do all those things, even though, Scott, I know you still love me, man. Look, you just found me. You love me. You love.
Listen, hey, Scott made me feel great because I showed up to his wedding a few months ago, and I went up and I was like, "Hey, man, hey, this is what I've been up to." Man, he goes, "Oh, I know." He goes, "I know about your podcast." He goes, "I know about all your stuff." He goes, "I keep tabs on you."
It's called a stalker.
It's called a good friend. It's called a good friend.
But I mean, I love and just having the conversation we're having. I love your approach. Conversational, get to know folks, and I want people to, the biggest thing I wanted folks to take away from this between the two of us is I knew we had different stylings. Conversationally, it's a conversation.
Right.
But the stylings to it are different. And if you're interested in podcasting, look, Steve's absolutely right. Go do it. just pick up your phone, go do it, go hang out, talk to some friends about whatever they want to talk to, and enjoy yourself with it. I will tell you though, and that's where that $1,000 comes into play. You get to enjoying what you're doing. You're going to get mics. You're going to get mic stands. You're going to get mixing boards. You're going to have a separate computer for this stuff. You're going to have I'll show you.
Reason I own a laptop.
Oh God. And I love it. A good friend who's cooler than a Ravens fan. Oh man, that hurts. That hurts. Oh, that's rough. I hope Patrick Mahomes tears a groin muscle.
Oh,
because if he tears a groin muscle, your entire team's done forever. Forever. And I like Andy Reid. I'm an Andy Reid fan because if it wasn't for Andy Reid, whack ass coach of ours, John Harbaugh, wouldn't be around. Fucking Harbaugh drives me nuts. Absolutely drives me zonkers. You see, he finally stopped going for it on fourth down like every time. Like how many times can you like throw a game because you thought, well, the analytics said I need to go for it on fourth down. Dude, you're 4th and 48 yards. Why are we going for it on fourth down? Well, analytics. Fucking kick that ball away. Yeah, look, Scott, I'm with you. Andy Reid is amazing. I think the guy, he is the current tuna. He is the tuna of this era. Bill Parcells, you start tracking, family trees of some of these coaches that are out there and how many of them go back to Andy Reid, just like going back to Bill Belichick. He's in that level. The guy's a genius all day long. And mobile quarterbacks are his thing. God, remember when he had Donovan McNabb, the shit he did with McNabb? The guy's a genius. But so anything else, coming up soon, anywhere else they can find you, Steve?
Not right now. I mean, no. I've got YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok.
OnlyFans.
Not yet.
Foot porn.
Feet Finder.
Feet Finder. I was going to say feetfinder.com. I mean, that's what you got to do. I mean, these bills don't pay themselves.
That's right.
So absolutely. Well, don't log off. We got to talk for a minute afterwards. Okay. For everyone who's hanging out with us, thank you so much. Please give us a like, follow, share. We're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch. Go over to Apple, go over to Spotify, give us a 5-star, give Steve shows a 5-star, leave a comment. Everybody thinks I'm kidding. From what everyone here has been doing of late, as we've been pushing more and more, making sure you do this for us.
Hey, you can Google High Life also.
Yeah, and it's Life is Lyfe. It's high right. Lyfe. But what people don't understand is from them doing that, the changes we've even seen in viewership and more people picking up, more downloads. You do that, folks. You're making that happen for us. And this, if you're enjoying this, you get to have other people enjoy it. You get to have other people be involved in it. Look, I told you, I'm looking to try to be that. Look, y'all want to call me up? I'll sell some deodorant. I don't give a shit. You got funky armpits? Try anti-funky armpit deodorant. Sponsored by the Above the Bar podcast, where we don't have funky armpits. I don't give a shit. I will push it. So
nobody wants funky armpits at the bar.
You don't want funky armpits. We don't want funky armpits. Spent the night at the bar and trying to get rid of those funky armpits. Anti-funky armpit deodorant. I don't care what it is. We're out there. We're trying to do it. Steve, I'll hook you up with some different folks here. We're going to keep this thing rolling. One of the things we do on every single show, if you didn't pick up on it before, is the guest gets the last word. So what's the final word, brother?
Man shouldn't butt into anything that ain't his own affair.
Live the high life.
All righty, folks. Be sure to push your stool in.
This has been an Earplug Podcast presentation. Found on earplugpodcast.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, and wherever your favorite podcasts are found.